Good afternoon, everybody. Today is February 27th, 2015, and welcome to our live market analysis for the British pound versus US dollar. I'm the Chief Technical Analyst here at HyperFX Academy, and I'll be walking you through some of the trade setups that occurred during the US session today. Now, we are using the basic HyperFX zigzag indicator on the chart. This is a 5-pip Renko chart, and we're simply applying our zigzag indicator to identify support and resistance levels. And then we simply apply two types of trend lines, either horizontal or angled trend lines, to determine the direction of the market. And then we place trends accordingly once we have a Renko brick cross this trend line, either on the downside for a sell signal or the upside for a buy signal. So I'm going to start drawing some of the trade setups that occurred today. Our first entry would have been actually this down break here. We have a sell entry right at this point here. Once this Renko brick closed past this angled trend line on the downside, which signals our first sell entry for the day, it was a great move. It went for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 pips in total. And if you captured, 15, 20 pips of that, it was a nice move. After that, we had our first up signal or buy signal at this point here. We draw an angled trend line when we have a lower high. So when the resistance levels, which are identified with these red dots here, once the second red dot is lower than the previous red dot, we have an angled trend line. And once the Renko break crosses this trend line on the upside, we have a buy signal. So this is our first buy signal for the day. Again, the British pound was moving very well, British pound versus US dollar. And this was another nice move. It went for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 pips. So, I mean, it's impossible to catch the entire movement. But if you wait for the opposite candle, for example, you would have caught 35 pips of the movement, which is quite impressive. And the same thing on the previous trade, the sell signal. If you had just waited for the first opposite candle to appear, which is right here, you would have caught a majority of this movement as well. So that's a strategy to take advantage of the maximum profit potential as well, by just waiting for the opposite Renko brick to appear before you exit the position. So we had a great sell signal to start off the day, and then we had a buy signal, which was very profitable as well. After that, we had another nice sell entry at this point here. You can clearly see that this Renko brick closed below this trend line, so that was our third entry for the day. And again, it was a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 pip move. And if you had waited for just the opposite candle, you would have lost 10 pips of that, so 25 pips, which is still quite good. And then after that, we had another nice up break at this location here. And again, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 pips. Minus the 10, so 30 pip move if you had just waited for the opposite candle before exiting. And this is what's going on right now. We just had an actual down break here, and this position would still be open, but it is 5 o'clock Friday evening, so the market just closed. But in this position, you would have been up another 10 pips as well. So as you can see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 great trade opportunities here. And by just applying simple trend lines, either horizontal or angled, on a Renko chart. This is a 5-pip Renko chart, and it provides very consistent entries. And if you exit on the first opposite candle or Renko brick, that's a good way to maximize profits as well. So again, thank you for tuning in, guys. I'll be joining you again Monday afternoon with another recap of another currency pair, using our basic Renko strategy with horizontal and angled trend lines. Till then, thank you for tuning in and happy trading.